ambulance work.
Oh, come on. Well, from, we're all at the meeting down in Winter. Saw that the Ojibwa was cabled. So, you know, basically, we need to talk, we ground zero with that, or how's everyone's feelings with that?
Well, my personal feelings, our subcommittee did its work, full committee did its work with the recommendation of county board. The county board wants to deny it, send it back to committee, let them handle it. That's my own personal feelings.
Okay.
Dale and I did a lot of work, hours and hours and hours of work with you on that. What's going to happen now?
If they're going to micromanage,
What's going on now?
What's going on now? Well, it's looking like it's gonna cost us $30,000 because I have to, the school, we're moving out of there. Tomorrow I have a place where they can, a rental, 2 apartments.
Is this going on for sure now? And
It,
who made that decision?
I have it all set up, nothing's in ink, it's ready to go. We're gonna discuss it right now, and we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do. And basically, I can say right now, we're gonna be in there for a year. We have to pay our lease that we owe the school, that'll be up in October, so we will continue paying rent that we're not gonna be at. And we're gonna be paying rent at, across the street at 2 apartments, which, you know, I'm thinking it's gonna, with all the overhead, it's gonna cost us $20,000. So, you know, money that we.
Annually?
Per year.
Okay.
So, you know, money we could have used to build a new structure and move forward is now being wasted on rent. So.
Let me get this straight. You're going to get an apartment across the street to house the EMTs and paramedics. We're going to keep our ambulances
At the garage, because we have
in
actually.
the school there. in the
Right,
garage.
that garage in the front,
I
because
see.
we do pay
I see.
separate, but combined, it's like $3,700. Well, you guys gave me the order, do something, move out. So this is the plan.
We also said that our second plan was that we move out of there and go with the
Winter. Right,
fire
right,
station and the
yep.
winter and set our people
Yep.
up in there and do some remodeling and fixing it up a little bit
I talked
for
to
our
Tim.
EMTs and paramedics.
I talked to Tim, and there's no curb, so we can't have them housed in the garage, and there's no party walls. So he said, we can't do that, we gotta get out of the school. So we had an idea that the county has taken back a home right in Radisson on taxes. So it needs some work done, and so I thought, hey, you know, let's fix it up. We can house them there, and until we come up with a plan, until we can get things approved and move forward. But Thursday, Tim told me that, oh, well, we can't have them there either because there's water in the crawl space. So, you know.
What do you mean water in the crawl space?
Yeah, that there was water in the crawl space. So he says, you know, I walked through the house, and you know, it's a project that can be completed. You know, if there's water in the crawl space, you know, that's what he told me.
Is that storm water or potable water?
Probably
I'm not portable water.
Storm water.
Yeah.
Groundwater.
So that kind of shot me down.
Eric, Shirley Carlson's house has been repossessed by the bank right directly behind the winter fire station. A nice place. That's available. Dale Beisel called me and said that his building was for sale, which has living quarters in it. It has a place that you could wash the ambulances. It's got a wash stall. He wants $129 for his place. Jill Cecil, I forgot her married name, she wants to sell her lumber company. She said, and that's a very nice building, and that would have living quarters. Those are all different options.
Right, we have, but, okay. Call volume, patient care, what makes the most sense? Where does that ambulance need to be? Okay? We have Brian now that I've probably 10 days a week that's been labor intensive, 15,000 addresses that he's doing a heat map from with the same documentation that I gave everybody from Image Trend, the reports. So now he's putting it into a big map so everyone can say, since 2007 when we started taking the data, that all right, this is where the runs are. Placement of the ambulance so that we can, what makes the most sense? That's why my thing, Ojibwa. It makes the most sense. But today, we move it to Winter and house them there. We are 15 minutes away from Coudray and Radisson, where the majority of the calls in the south are, in that area. I mean, you give me the command decision to move it there, we'll do it.
I say we do nothing, seeing the action of the county board.
We
We've
made
been
a
over.
recommendation for Ojibwa, but I know that county board that we're working with. I know that people are not going to okay a $250,000 building at Ojibwa. But that was Dale and my original recommendation, which we worked with you on.
Oh, yeah.
And the three of us recommended that.
I know.
No, the county board said no.
I know.
So we're out in oblivion again. What are we going to do?
Well,
I don't think spinning our wheels is going to solve the problem.
No, it's kind of out of our hands now.
well, it isn't out of our hands.
I mean, ours.
Well, we need,
Do you
We're
want
doing-
us, our subcommittee, to keep working? You want Dale and I to?
I don't personally, but that's up to the full committee.
What
I
do you
think we
want?
should keep working. We gotta do something.
I think it was a waste of time.
Jim?
Why? Because there's stormwater in the crawl space of a house, why does that make it not okay to put?
I think we've got two issues here. One is, the permanent location of the ambulance sites. That's a separate issue. What we're trying to do now is address the issue in Radisson where the people are staying overnight, which we're not comfortable with. So this is a temporary solution to get them out of that facility on their overnight stays. Where that is, there's been some other suggestions. Maybe the house still works. We've had some discussions with maintenance. There is some issues that maybe can be addressed. The groundwater underneath the home, how can that be remedied? And if that's a cheaper solution than renting another facility, then we'll go that route. But or another alternative. But I think our objective, since the other facility, whether it's Ojibwa or whatever else, is a certain time off, we need to do something immediately in Radisson until that decision is made and another facility is built or purchased or whatever.
Half of the resident, I'm just throwing half out there, I don't really know a number, but there's an awful lot of houses in Sawyer County that have sump pumps in them to get rid of the stormwater. I mean, I don't get what the problem is here.
And
I'm with you
There's a
there.
difference
And-
between
and,
stormwater and groundwater.
I know one of them sump pumps is $100 and labor to dig a hole in the crawl space to put the whatever to, I don't know, $500 maybe at the most. I mean,
It's-
What are we dealing with? Is it stormwater or
Okay.
groundwater?
yeah, stormwater, everybody's
Yeah.
sump pumps down there.
Okay. It's Sawyer County has this now taken back on taxes. Something has to be done. All right? If we can fix it up, however the money comes from. I would rather spend, if it has to come from the ambulance, money to invest in at least a home that we're gonna, as a county, have to get rid of and sell. In the meantime, we can utilize it, than to me spend rent on 100% loser and we still have this, something that's, the property, or the taxes that's owed on it, I think is like $5,000. That's all you're gonna get out of it. Someone's gonna buy that on the auction block for $5,000.
What's it worth for market value?
Chris, you'd be better at
That
that.
isn't quite the way to get
We had 50,000 on it the land sale last year, and it goes down 25%, but if it's got issues like that, we won't sell it for years, and then it'll fall into ruin, and then it won't be worth much of anything. We won't get much.
We have plans. Tomorrow, we could move. But then we commit to $20,000 and lose our rent. And we just gave a brand new truck away.
Truck.
Yeah.
Great.
$30,000. Loser.
I guess I'm lost. How did the truck get into the
Well, I'm
conversation?
just putting things in perspective. Okay? Reality is, we still have to pay the place that we're leaving. Plus, it's gonna cost $20,000 for the place that we're gonna rent.
Warren,
I'm confused. Who signed the lease for the facility in Radisson?
For the school,
Yeah. Has this committee ever approved that?
the rent, the lease, the last
Somebody
October
signed
when
an
I was
agreement on
on,
behalf of the county. Who did that?
I don't know.
I think it's just been signed year to year.
Yep.
It didn't get approved by any committee, but I think
Yeah.
everybody's aware that we've been leasing.
That was for the garage area.
2007? So,
I would think we could get out of that thing then.
and the reason that
Well, we just
we're
won't-
getting out of there is because of mold issues? And heating issues?
well,
or-
you know what, nothing is documented, nothing's 100% sure, but, you know, there are extension wires, it is, you know.
Doesn't mean-
It is makeshift, and I'm not gonna try to powder puff
Okay.
it. It's not, it's, you know, we gotta do something.
Well, let's say this committee does recommend something. What's to say we won't get stonewalled again when we take it to the county board? That's what I'm afraid of.
What if we bring this whole thing to the county board and see ask them
That's
what
what
to do about it?
happened,
Yeah, last time?
They denied it.
Well, they tabled it, didn't they, or?
Right.
No, they out denied it.
No,
As
didn't
I
they
recall.
table it?
Table, yeah.
They tabled it, recommending it come back to this
Well,
committee to
you know,
study.
you gave me the orders to get out of there. I'm ready to get out of there. You know, I go back now and I didn't get them out of there. So now I didn't do what I was told to do.
Yeah, but the county board superseded that.
Jim, go ahead.
You know, just paying 20 grand for rent, I agree with Eric, I think that's pretty ridiculous. I don't see why we don't do what we gotta do and get our people moved into that house.
I'm with you.
And then the other part of that is there a way that we could build on, I don't know where this property is, but could we build a garage for ambulances there too?
It's a big lot.
Okay, then the other question is, I got a printout from the, I don't know her name, the new lady that's doing the ambulance billing, I guess.
Tricia.
And she gave me a printout for the non-emergency ambulance runs. And that was, I've got it, I forgot to throw it in my packet today, $240,000. But that also includes, I can't remember, Matt Fitch told me it was stance, I can't remember the term he used, but it's, or tips.
Tip-ups or?
Tip-ups, yeah, where that's a non-emergency, but there it's, some person fell down and can't get up and their alarm went off and the ambulance responds to that. And he says there's a lot in there. So the number I was actually looking for was not there. I was wondering how much money we made outside of the budget doing these transfers. And it seems like it's quite a substantial amount of money that we brought in that could be logically used to do whatever it is we plan on doing.
you know, like I've always said, in this industry, that's our bread and butter. You ask anyone in EMS, ambulance, where's the bread and butter? It's in transfers, not 911. So, you know, focusing our energy on that and providing a good 911 service, you know, that's where we're at. Now, you know, I passed out, we grossed we had $157,000, $158,000 in checks that came in, that we put in our account for June.
In that month alone?
That's it, in that month. And Tricia was gone for a week, and she's half June. You know, we're going to be around 280,000 in sending out charges. We did 94 transfers in June. Like I told you, you know, the population increases. We're going to be bouncing around 100 transfers a month. We wanted to do 42 at the get-go. Remember I told you? 42 a month. That'll meet our goal. Well, we're beyond it. And it's...
Where are the majority of these transfers going?
Duluth and Eau Claire.
I guess to move this thing along and forget about my personal feelings, what does the committee feel? Jim?
I think we should fix that house up immediately and get our people into I hate to say a safer place, but a better place, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, let's worry about the people first and move on from there. I don't see a problem with stormwater. And as I said, I've got a sump pump in my basement.
That's for groundwater though, not stormwater.
No, this was stormwater.
Stormwater can be solved. Just by
Diverted.
drain tile on the edge.
Yep, French drains, I mean,
Yep.
it can be dealt with. There's nothing that can't be taken care of. But, I don't know, my personal feelings is I'd rather, if we're gonna invest money into something that Sawyer County owns, because when we move out, probably gonna be a year from now, whatever decisions we made, at least maybe we can get our money back.
Go ahead.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
I asked if I was allowed to ask a question.
Oh,
Yes.
Eric, when you talk about fixing that house up, you say between $20,000 and $30,000. Do we actually have an estimate on that?
No, I never said that. I never gave you a number.
No, you did. You said $20,000.
No.
That
was
was
for
the
rent.
That was the renting the other house.
So the estimate on what it would cost to bring the other house up to standard is how much?
Question mark.
So
Eric has a
would there
pretty...
be an estimate before that move was made?
Yeah, yes.
Eric has a
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
strong construction background. And between him and Tim, they should be able to come up with something.
And then, one more question. Can you reiterate why, again, the ambulance can't be housed in winter?
Because for one, when you have people sleeping in an area, you have to have a curb, at least 4 inches of concrete above the grade of any other vehicles. So if any other fumes go down there, they cannot go up to where the people are.
So was it housed there previously?
What's that?
The ambulance?
In winter?
yeah.
Correct. Nobody slept there.
Probably non-conforming.
Yes, they did.
Well,
They did?
They slept there.
They did.
not to my knowledge.
Well, I'll tell you, they slept there.
Okay, well, they shouldn't have been.
Yes.
They'd be non-conforming, whatever it was. Now with Redison, are we dealing with a village code or the county code?
Village code. Well, is it in the village, within the village?
It's right by the restaurant there.
What is the address of this house? Can I have that?
I can get it to you.
Is it right
You
by
mean
the
the
fire
restaurant,
hall?
right on
Uh,
77?
You can see the fire hall.
Yeah.
If you're going through and you take a right, what's it, the village kitchen?
Hmm?
Right after that,
On the
bam,
left.
right on the corner there.
Okay.
Across from that old building that used to be the Odd Fellows Hall?
On the other side of the street.
It's the same block
It's
that
opposite the other side, okay. I know
Same
what it
block
is.
as.
Whiskey Ridge, it's just on the corner there.
Warren.
I'm just asking about where the money's going to come from. I mean, we have a budget of $1.4 million for expenses for ambulance. If you look at the report in front of you, the payroll alone is going to hit that for this year. That doesn't cover the rents, it doesn't cover the ambulance expenses, it doesn't cover the fuel. He's so far over on budget already on expenses, and we don't even know where we are on revenues, and all of a sudden we're talking about spending money without anybody having any numbers, so.
Well, where are the
We
numbers?
didn't know what number to put in there. We told him what number to put in for his budget.
Yeah.
Was gray sky or blue sky area as to how much revenue is going to come in, and we won't know that till the end of the year.
Well, we'll know what, on a monthly basis, we don't know that, but we know what the expenses are.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
we're way over on expenses.
It looks like we might have made 100,000 this month.
No, we didn't.
On if you look at minus out the wages.
First
Sure,
of
we
all,
got
you've
fuel
got
and stuff,
you're comparing a month to a 2-week period. There's been 13 payrolls, that's 1/2 of a year. 52 weeks in a year, 26 payrolls. So you got the numbers for your payroll for half a year. That's $693,000.
Are you figuring in though that,
I
like
think
this
we're
month
way off
alone, we
base
made
here.
$20,000 ahead?
I don't think you're anywhere ahead of the numbers I've seen, but I haven't seen the numbers, nobody's seen the
Exactly, so we
numbers.
definitely have to deal with facts. Now,
What are the facts? How much have we gotten this year?
we can't be saying we're gonna be behind, we're gonna be ahead. You know, we need to, we can't be giving numbers out when we don't know the facts.
Can you double 693,000? Is that about $1.4 million?
Yep,
And what's your budget for expenses for the whole year?
we got 1.4.
Okay, so just in payroll alone, you're probably gonna hit your budget. So anything else you've spent during the year
Well, you
is
know,
gonna be a loss.
And you look at the
We're
budget.
going no place here.
Yeah.
Jim.
Okay. I thought, okay, the transfers, the money we make from doing these transfers, that's not all in the budget, is it? How much did you, I need an account here. How much money do you bring in that transfers that was not part of the estimated income?
I think that when you estimated revenues, it included transfers
Right.
and the other, and again, I don't know where we stand on that. That's an important fact to discern, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the transfers were built into the revenues.
I think we're getting the cart way ahead of the horse.
However, it lies when it's done. Even with this budget, I never figured in health insurance. Add all those numbers up in health insurance and see what that comes to. That was thrown in there, halfway. We have to do it, so.
Go
Well,
ahead, Chris.
Again, in the end, we've got it does boil down to revenues and expenses and seeing if we can come close to matching the expenses with our revenues. But that doesn't help Eric, who right now has a real difficult problem. I think if you're gonna not house people at Radisson School, you're gonna either have to come up with some expensive alternative or go back to not having 24/7 people available, sleeping and ready to get in an ambulance, and that has some serious ramifications for somebody who has an emergency at some point. And we go back to where we were slow in responding to calls, which you don't want. So again, it isn't something we can push down the road very far because he's got to run that ambulance service and come up with a solution pretty quick.
Mr. Hoff, in your newsletter that you sent out, you and I don't have it in front of me, but you made the statement in there about it looked like we could do a little bit or some work in this house in Radisson, and it was somehow or another in there you alluded that it didn't seem like it would be that costly. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth,
Right, that was the gist of what was said at that time, which was a week and a half ago. Since that time, Tim in maintenance went down there, found some other issues he wasn't aware of to begin with. So the repairs that are needed there are a little bit more expensive than what he initially thought. But in looking at the alternatives, perhaps, and we don't have an estimate on what the repairs are, but I imagine they would be cheaper than rent at another house for a full year. So, you know, you look at the rent on what that costs, and that is a big chunk of change. You're talking about repairs that would need to be made to house people that may partially or fully get recouped when that property is sold. And if you do neither of those, we still have to move people out of that facility and not have them sleep there. And then what happens to the service or other costs that would be incurred to provide that service if they're not housed in Radisson?
Then Chris, if a motion was made to do whatever needs to be done to the house in Radisson, does that have to have county board approval? Or will this committee?
I think it'd be a good idea. I don't know.
With the tone of last meeting, I would say it's mandatory.
I would move that we
Recommend to the county. board.
recommend to the county board that we do what we need to do to that house. Somebody put the address in there, whatever, for that Radisson.
And you can request that Tim do his best to come up with some estimate of what that would be.
I
In
think
the
Tim,
meantime?
working with Eric has a pretty extensive construction background.
So, okay, we're making a decision that we would go in the direction of getting that house squared away. So now the person that I can potentially say that we're gonna rent from, I'm gonna put them on hold.
Is that a statement or
No,
a question?
across the street, because he's wanting,
Oh,
I
the
told him
duplex,
I'm gonna go, I got
I
the
see.
committee meeting, I'm gonna talk, and I need to tell him what's going on.
Yeah, I would just put it
I
on
wouldn't
hold
do
for
anything
now.
until it
Okay.
gets approved by county board.
Okay?
I'm looking at last meeting, we spun our wheels for a month, essentially is what we did.
The county board is what, 9 days?
Next Thursday.
So we can say for a month or two, we're still in that school.
I would say at least a month, yeah.
Bill, how do you feel?
No. I'm gonna vote no.
No to what?
Pat?
Jim's motion
Oh.
that was not seconded yet.
Go ahead, Pat.
Eric, can you do a month-to-month lease with that?
Well, yeah, I'll ask that. I'll ask. But no, actually, I'll ask. He did say a year's lease.
But if you say this is what's going on, you just do it for a month. Some money is better than no money.
I'll try. I'll try.
And that wouldn't be 20,000, but it'd get everybody out of it.
I'll try.
Tom?
I think by the board meeting too, we'll have a better idea of what kind of costs would be involved in the house, and so the board can probably make a better decision next Thursday. And if there is an estimate in costs, either renting or fixing up the house, we'll know what those are. And as it becomes a budget issue, I mean, you've got so much money to spend this year, and if it looks like you're going to be spending more of that, then the board needs to be aware and either appropriate more money through contingency or some other factor to spend the amount of money to provide that service. And if revenues are coming up to meet that, it's not going to be that much of an issue. But if the revenues aren't coming in and we're still spending more money than what's budgeted, then that's going to be a big discussion.
I think what we have to keep in mind here are expenditures and income will never match up. We're providing a service to the county, and we've got to keep that first and foremost in our mind. If we think this is going to be a profit center, it never will be,
No,
and it shouldn't be.
no, you can guarantee that. Just want to break even,
Well, attempt to,
you know.
Chris.
And the big challenge will be first because of the major transition in the type of ambulance service we provide, mainly knowing where we stand on it, whether we lose or break even, or we want to, as fast as we can, get to where we can get a pretty good idea of what our revenues and expenses are, so we know what it's costing us and what we can afford to do.
So do we have a motion on the floor right now?
The motion would be to
Nobody seconded it.
recommend to the county board to fix up that house that the county took for back
I would
taxes and
second it
radishes,
for discussion.
and get estimates by the county board meeting as to what that would cost.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then,
I think we've done is what the county board has requested of us.
okay. I have contacted Washburn County and the counties along the border about municipal agreements with them. And second Tuesday, I'm on the agenda for the township of Stinnett. And we've been, Tom and myself talking about, per population, per, tax, or how we're going to come up with our way we're going to charge them.
Yep.
Birchwood's already done all that. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do here, Rick, but
Yeah.
Birchwood has a formula, and it's per populace, per, what the county, or what the township is worth in value, and there's some
Right.
big formula.
Tom actually got that information.
Oh, okay.
And he looked at it, and you're right. And I like the way that they did it. It seems, it's a big number. And it's based on, like, whatever, the value, which is, we know Birchwood is all Lake Chautauqua, so it's a lot of lakefront property. So I also contacted North Memorial. They do not have contractual agreement with those townships. So I thought maybe we could just subcontract through them when they call us and just put a fee on top of it. Their director said, good luck with that.
Good luck
With doing that. Let's say your North Memorial 911 call comes in, you say we can't do it, let's call Sawyer. I would say, fine, we can do it, but I'm also gonna charge you an extra $800 for calling me. That's like subcontracting kind of. They said that probably won't work. And I thought, gosh, there comes responsibility with this. That we sign agreements with them that we're going to take their township, we have an obligation to do it.
Okay, I don't get it, we're doing it now.
We are doing it now, but we're not responsible to do it. Okay? We signed an agreement them saying we're responsible. We got 5 rigs out, it's 4th of July, it's cuckoo ball. We want us, we have, we will, but it's a window we've opened. Because, we are Sawyer County ambulance and Sawyer County is.
There isn't a model statewide that you can go by, because if you look at different ambulance services, they're all over the place. It's a hodgepodge.
We're unique, being a county owned.
We are.
We're unique. But I followed through with that because you asked me to do it. And I'm going to them and I'm going to present some ideas to them. And get on their agenda, I'm on their agendas, and I'm going to go to each one of those meetings and tell them what I'm thinking.
Can you attend the county board meeting?
In Washburn?
No. Sawyer, next Thursday?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Have we beat this horse to death?
Yeah, oh, yeah, but I'm just looking at, Glidden ambulance folded, they got an ambulance down there thinking about it. I did give them a number just to look at, about buying their ambulance. So,
Who do they contract with somebody then?
they contracted with Great Divide, and it was 4 townships, their bid was like $300,000. And basically, they're there just north of Glidden. They're there for one reason. Because Highway 13 is a straight shot to Park Falls and straight shot to Ashwood, and they want the transfers out of there. That's it.
Okay, can I just ask?
Go ahead.
Are you going to bring proposals to the full county board on what it's going to cost to do this house?
I will work
Is that
with
it?
him, we'll
Wait a
do some
minute.
material takeoffs, and we'll
Yeah.
try to,
Okay.
you know.
Because you know how these county board people are gonna react to this. Unless you have something black and white in front of them, I know they're gonna give you problems. So bring something to the board meeting that we can look at, right, guys?
That plotted map that Brian is working on, will that be available by county board?
It should be, we were down to 1,500 addresses, just to reconfigure, because he's putting it into his spreadsheet, into a map, boom. We're gonna have 15 years of, this is where every time an ambulance got called out, we'll have a little bullet point. And also, you know,
That'll differentiate the tip-ups and whatever you call it, unit term force.
where we got called to. We're not gonna, you know, if someone called 911, we went to, I wanna stress that HIPAA, patient confidentiality, it's no one's business that an ambulance went to my house. So we need to also think about that. I mean, you're gonna say, oh, why did an ambulance go to my buddy's house in 2010 down the road? That's nobody's business. So,
Yeah, but those dots don't pinpoint it that close.
yeah, they do. They cover right over the fire lane number.
This'll take care of when somebody says, I'm from Winter and I call for an ambulance. It comes out of Radisson.
No.
The
It's
ambulance comes out
where
of.
the address is.
That's right.
You got it.
That'll quell that
You
rumor
betcha.
that,
Yep. It does, even though Radisson responded,
Right.
insignificant. I want to know from that address, I don't care what ambulance service, because that's true. That's a true geographical, you know, not what ambulance went to. That would be correct, but anyways.
yeah.
Anything else?
Well, no, all I know is now, at least a month, and I'm gonna get that material takeoff and work with Tim. So, you know, we're in that home
I
for,
don't know what else we can do.
I don't either, but that's what we're doing.
You on county trouble?
No, sir.
If not, we'll move on to vouchers.
Move to approve.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.